Yeah, we first started talking about doing a series when you were 2015 when you were doing GPs.
Yeah, so being from up in this area, now part of big part of Grays Harbor, and obviously you with Moto West. Racing's always struggled up in the Northwest, especially after the hard times the economy's had in the past. So after taking and having a year at Grays Harbor and running a little 4-race series there, and kind of seeing what the Northwest Motocross was kind of all about. We started thinking and came up with that. How do you race over 60 races in a 3.5 month summer? If we're lucky, a 4-month summer. There's so many races, and it makes the rider have to choose. Where to go.
All the series were overlapping, and
everybody's fighting for that spot, fighting for air, and it's like, well, how do we make it all work, and there's the tracks that have to survive. Number one, the tracks have to survive, or there's nowhere for anybody to ride. And then you have just the promoters that are out there that don't have a track that go and race, and then all the tracks have their own races also. So it's like who's just they're jockeying for position, really, so.
Right. I think our business model, we've kind of shaken things up to say the least, but I think our goal was to infuse the tracks. When you do have a race, you can make revenue just that one weekend.
Exactly. Like I said, Grays Harbor had a 4-race series last year. Me and my partner sat down and says, we don't want to have just a mediocre series, or race entries. How can we come together and make it to where we have 300, 400, 500 entries every time we race? Well, we came up with the idea of having a traveling series and going to these different places and getting all the tracks on the same page, speaking the same language.
Right.
And then that's where the second key part to the deal was that I had no idea how to do, neither did my partner, was where you came in from the dealership's point of view. Right. The dealership has always struggled or been pushed out of kind of the racing community, and that's where myself.
Well, and I think a lot of that's scheduling. It's no. To get the dealers to the tracks is going to be interesting. See how that works, but they need to be incentivized, and we're working with Yamaha on some plans to make that happen. But the scheduling, since it's really there's no continuity, like it was, in the 80s. To try to get the dealerships to get all your race team members to do one thing is impossible. And so we're going to work and try to get continuity, so we can support our race teams and have at least one series we can all unite and go to. And that's, and then likewise getting the riders to the shops.
Yeah.
And so then we came up with the Pac West bucks.
Yeah, it's like, how do I get, first off, the riders back to go racing? Well, it's cheaper for the rider to go and just do practice, right?
Pac West bucks, right there. All the dealerships, there's 10 of them that are supporting the series this year, and
those bucks are good at all those 10 dealerships. So if you're from Eastern Washington and JMC's your closest shop, well, your closest shop to you, but you raced here at Woodland, and you get Motobucks. Well, in the past when I was growing up, the Motobucks was really only good at the shop that was nearest the track that that raced at and where you got it. So now that $10 that you get per class that you sign up in, you can use it at all those dealerships. So if you're from east side of the mountain, you can take that $40 back if you ride 4 classes and go spend it at JMC. It gets you in the dealership stores, and then with the hopes that you're going to spend more than $40.
And we did it by participation. We did it by entry versus finishing.
Yeah. So obviously now it's like everybody that comes and races gets it. At first, when we were trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to do it, it was going to be Motobucks was going to be
top
5 or top 3 or whatever. But now it's every class. So everybody that shows up, you might get last place. Well, you still get a $10 Pac West bucks to go and spend it at any one of those dealerships.
We're taking $5 per entry and going to put Ryan to work doing, going shopping basically for the series. So as far as Pac West making money, we're going to make $5. Ryan's going to go shop with it.
Essentially, all that is so that I can call up the people that I have relationships with, and it's one thing to call and ask for something for free. It's always, it's weird when you say, hey, can I get all this stuff for free? It's like, let's say,
we don't want to wear out our welcome.
Exactly. Like eventually that gets old, and I don't like doing it at all. So with the small percentage that we're taking out of the entry is going to go back into buying all you guys, tires, helmets,
right.
Stands, gas cans, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, tie downs, everything that I can get my hands
on.
What'd
be cool is if we got some comments, like suggestions, give us a shopping list.
What people are looking for.
What you're looking for.
So I think it's gonna be huge, and eventually, once this series grows, and I believe it will, then that the more money that gets put into that pot, that's gonna be able to buy more things or put us into a place that is an actual event hall for maybe the series end awards and
right.
So it's just going to expand. Better food. This, that, the next. We're going to spend all the money that gets. It's not going into our pocket. Where Moto West makes his money, where we make our money as Grays Harbor, where Woodland, Washougal, everybody keeps all their own revenue. We don't get any of it. Each
right.
track keeps all of their entry count. All their
camping.
The show.
They run
their own show. Other than that small percentage that we get to then buy the stuff that you guys want.
Yeah, absolutely. What's really important, because we have a lot of dealerships that we represent and a lot of sponsors that are playing, we want to create a playing field that everyone's welcome. In order to do that, we have to make sure that we have a good image on social media. We stand by our sponsors, whether they're like I'm Brothers Power Sports, I do Honda Yamaha. Well, I welcome an online sponsor. I welcome a Suzuki dealership or a Cowie or KTM or Husky. We're all in this together. And I want everyone to feel welcome here. No battle lines being drawn at all. We want to welcome everybody and with the rider in mind. The rider has to win. If the rider wins, we all win. Sponsors win, we all win. Tracks win, we all win. It's the longevity of the sport. That's what it's all about. And that's important. We have to keep everybody happy. I'm thankful that Ryan wants to get back to the Northwest, do what he can. He grew up here and a dealer like myself appreciates that. Let's be thankful and have some gratitude. How many championships do you have? 8?
10 total.
10.
10
8,
total,
10,
yeah.
Whatever. But thankful that Ryan is wants to be a part of a series here and give back to the sport.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's like I said, it's racing. Growing up here racing, it was always a struggle. It's always a struggle, trying to find a track close enough and not driving 2 or 3 hours. And I think right now, with the way that we are, we actually have probably the most tracks we've ever had. Which is good. That's what people need, places to ride. That's where they burn up tires, burn up parts. It gets them into the dealer. It's a revolving. It's a revolving door. It's a never-ending circle. That's what keeps keeps the shops going, keeps the tracks going.
Absolutely.
And people on the track to ride.
Yeah, the number one question people ask when they come buy a dirt bike for their kid. Let's say we sell a CRF 110 or a TTR 110. Where do I ride? And for a long time, many years, we never had an answer. And so that's what, getting into the sport, getting the dealers involved with tracks, it has to happen, Otherwise, the kids are going to play baseball, they're going to play soccer, which nothing wrong with that, but, we're motocross advocates. It's good for the family, you're maintaining equipment, you're learning how to compete, you're learning how to win, you're learning how to lose, you're learning humility, all that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you learn it growing up.
Motocross is, I have 2 kids now, and
yeah.
Obviously I see what goes on, through social media, and I watch the news and all these things, and for a long time I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get my kids into riding, just because, but now looking on, kind of what's happening and the stuff that goes on and the stuff you see on Instagram and the news and everything else, it's like, shit, motocross it's not a bad thing. It's actually really good. It teaches you how to win. It teaches you how to lose. Not everybody gets a trophy. It's just the way it is. And that's one thing that I think motocross is still stays true to is there's a winner and there's a loser. It's not bad to be a loser. I lost a lot of races as an amateur growing up that only made me better, as an adult and also as a professional racer.
Absolutely. I'd like to say 3 to 4% of the people ride bikes. That's it. And we all have to learn how to, come together for the good of the sport. Whatever brand you're at, whatever dealership you ride for, whatever sponsor you represent. It's a small world, right?
It is, and we have a lot of sponsors, a lot of shops that are involved with bringing back Pac West. It's not, it might have been, say my idea, but I knew that I couldn't get the dealer involved. I don't know anything about the dealer, so that's where Brian came involved and put things in place and made those calls and got the people on board on that end and then the tracks, for instance, we all have been working on and getting the tracks all on the same page, speaking the same language, and everybody so far that we've talked to, the 7 tracks that are on the list, or the 6 tracks that are on the list everybody is super excited to see where this thing is going to go, because like Brian said, everybody is going to win and gets to go home with something.
Absolutely.
But tell you guys, how about the new format, being a Sunday race?
Yeah, that's good too.
That's another thing, we want to be, rider first. That's our mentality, and I have a technician that works at the shop, and this will be the first series that he can compete in. And so
finish the whole series.
Yeah, I start and finish. He's here today. So we work on Saturday. That's our big day at the dealership, and then we can race on Sunday. And then it's also good for people that want to get confidence on Saturday and that might not race on Sunday, so they get some confidence going, and then they feel like they can handle the track. Also, you can get a lot of riding in on Saturday. And
not only that, a big portion of people that buy motorcycles, they never actually line up behind a gate.
Yeah.
It's probably 80-20, maybe it's 90-10. A lot of people ride dirt bikes, they don't race. So by, once again, driving revenue to keep these tracks all open, now we have it set up to where the weekend warrior wants to come out and ride Saturday, totally can, along with the racers that want to come out, like Brian said, and get some track time before the Sunday race, and then Sunday we race.
And don't we all want to grow the sport? I mean, I mentioned 3 to 4% of people ride motorcycles. Don't we want to make that 5 or 6%? And how are we going to grow? We have to have a good image. We have to be attractive. We have to, be mature adults on social media. We have to make people want to come here with their families. And so I want to grow the sport. And right now we're poised. The economy is better. It's getting better. And, that dirt bike is more affordable now than it has been. And so let's give people a place to ride, a chance to compete. It's nice when you do any hobby around like-minded people. It's nice to be at the track. It's nice to rub elbows with people that love what you love. And to see the camaraderie out here, no matter, we have people from Canada here, Spokane, we have people from Idaho, all over the place.
And let me tell you, it's snowing outside, and
there's that.
And we have a decent. It's not a great turnout, but it's a decent turnout for being that it's snowing and raining. And that's one thing why we picked Woodland to start this early. It's the Northwest. I get it. It sucks sometimes, but Woodland is the place that you can ride while it's raining, and that's why this is round 1. And we got the short stick today, and it's ended up raining and snowing a little bit, but hey, the track's rideable. So it's either sit at home on the couch or come out and hang out with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a couple hundred entries here, and I didn't see anyone. I mean, everyone is happy at the riders meeting. It is like snowing and cold, and we gave away a pressure washer.
Yeah.
That was, so this is what it's all about. We're just gonna have fun. Have fun with this. And so that's what we're gonna do.
It really does remind me of the old, back in the 80s and early 90s when we used to race.
Yeah.
These kind of series.
Remember the mid 80s? You don't, but the mid 80s had full 500 gate pro class. Imagine that.
Yeah, I know. And that's something that where, you know, some of that revenue that we generate from the tracks, from the entries, eventually for the pros, eventually if we get those number counts and those rider counts and we have some extra money to spend,
Right.
talk about pro purse, that's one place that is where it will be spent at eventually, to get the pros back up and racing and getting it how it was when I was growing up, where you had, you know, you had 10, 12 pros out, you know, racing, and that's kind of how they made their living. It wasn't a lot, but it's a lot more than what's out there today. So
Yeah.
if we can offer a big pro purse, you know,
Absolutely.
big compared to what is now, you know, think about the pros that are going to show up rain or shine, you know, when that's how they, you know, get through their months.
You know, we've talked to these manufacturers. I know you've talked to them, I've talked to them, and they love the fact that when the tracks communicate with the dealerships, you know, we can put the sport in a better place. And when everyone's working together and not over each other, and you know, so I think our model is good. I'm sure we'll make mistakes. I'm sure we'll know about it when we do, and you know, but we're going to fail forward. You know, this is a long vision. You know, this is the start. You know, we have 7 rounds. It's fun to talk with Ryan about the future and about what could happen, what could be possible. So I mean, hang in there. We'll see. We'll get input. We've asked at every track for their input, honest input. Where can we improve?
We're a professional group, and we're going to always keep it professional. You're never going to hear, you know, anything come out of us. If we have a beef, we have a problem, we're going to settle it with who we have, and not over social media. Believe me, as a professional athlete, I've dealt with a lot of it over social media. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there that like to sit behind somebody or smoke and mirrors and say all these things. But you know, if we have an issue, we need to handle it. We'll handle it outside of that, you know, and move forward. So.
We represent sponsors. You know,
we have to,
represent dealerships. We represent manufacturers.
Yeah.
We want to be in a good image. That's number one.
So we're always going to keep it professional. So you know, that's why maybe you haven't heard, you know, call it our side yet, because you'll never hear it, by the way. So it's professional from here on out, and that's the way we're going to keep it.
All right. Another thing, we have some contingency. We have 4, right?
Yep, 4.
Honda, Yamaha, KTM, Kawasaki. So we're glad to have them on board.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's kind of hard to get those, you know, those contingencies. We brought some over from the series that Grace Harbor had. We had KTM and Kawasaki, and we brought them over and you know, brought them to this series instead of over at ours. You know, so now they're here supporting this, and it's good to have them, because that makes another incentive to get the rider out here to race.
You know, practicing on Saturday and racing on Sunday. You know, that the person that, as I mentioned earlier, wouldn't think about racing Sunday. They'd never race, but they'd practice, and they'd get their skill up, and then that would promote.
It
safety.
might breed some more racers. You have a lot, like I said, you have a lot of practicers. The 80% are people that probably never actually get behind the gate, and now you have a Saturday practice, Sunday race. So if you come out and you race, or you practice Saturday and you have a great old time and it's awesome, and then you're like, shit, you know what, why don't I try to race for the first time on Sunday? You know, I just practiced all day Saturday, or got the track dialed in, and now we're holding the race Sunday. So it might breed some more racers, you know, for the ones that maybe aren't as skilled either, and they want more practice, more track time than what we can give them, or what we could give them on a Saturday, Sunday race. Or, you know, now you can come in Saturday, get as much track time as you want, and then, you know, go racing on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of growing the sport. You know, is when you can appeal to the people that wouldn't otherwise think they would race. You know, now you're giving them more confidence. They're going to get a lot of seat time on Saturday.
as much as you want.
Yeah. We look forward to a good year in 2018. It's February, but it's going to be our next round's April, so I think the weather will be a little better. We're excited for this year and for the future.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Any questions, let us know, and we'll try to address them as quick and as best we can.
Okay, we're sitting here with Ryan Huffman, and Ryan has a track called, what is it, Washougal?
Yeah, Washougal. Yeah.
Washougal Motocross Park. And round 4 of the Pac West is there June 9th and 10th. So we started the series, it's our first year, and we're really glad to have you on board.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good concept what's going on. It's good for us tracks. My mom did something like this back in the day with the Pacific Northwest Series. And the tracks, all make the revenue, and all the money that comes in besides that goes to the riders. And it's just a good way to do it. And we've got Villopoto, obviously, is involved. So he's bringing in sponsors, and it's got a new take and some new life for the Northwest, and it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the entry fee, we have our, Pac West bucks. $10 gift card. So your entry is $35, minus 10 is 25, assuming you go and spend your money at a participating dealer. But the $5 that the Pac West keeps goes back to the rider, and we're going to go put Villopoto to work. We're going to make him go to the industry and negotiate deals, and it's neat to have him engaged. I think him growing up, we've all seen him grow up racing, and to have him give back to the Northwest is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really cool. He before his career was up, me and him had a pretty long conversation once on the phone, and he mentioned how he was going to be involved with the Northwest once he got settled down after racing, and it's impressive with the follow through, and it's good for the sport up here. We could use it up here and get some people back racing. The gift card to the dealerships, that's cool. A lot of the good dealerships seem to be involved, and that gets people back to the shops. Shops get excited. That gets them more involved with the riders, and it's more like it used to be even when I was younger. So it's cool to see it go in that direction, and want to see it carry on that way. And be a learning year this year, I'm sure, for all of us involved with it. But it is what it is,
we want to create an environment where it's healthy for the tracks.
Yeah.
We want to attract the dealerships to the track, and we want the riders to go to the dealerships, so everyone's playing on the same playing field. So as far as being territorial or having battle lines, it's important to me to have everyone involved that promotes the sport, because I was sitting here with Ryan here a little bit ago, and we want to grow the sport. We don't want to look at the pie and cut the pie out. We want to actually grow motocross. It's a great sport for the family. They travel together, and you're around like-minded people. It's also a good place to get skills, maintain equipment, recreate with your friends. I mean, I know you grew up racing motocross.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a great sport. And so we want to do our part, me from a dealer and being involved in a track, very invested in motorsports my whole life, and so, and being involved with the track, I do know a little bit about, expenses, and my gosh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. I had no idea.
People don't quite get it, unless they're more involved, but we do it because we love it. I look at my dad, and he's been involved with Washougal since 1980. I believe he funded the first national there, and we ran tracks. I should say he ran tracks since the early 70s, and I've been around it since I was 2 years old, banging my head off a cat just to ride around with him while I worked on the tracks, and got to see it all kind of grow, and different series come, and new people get involved like Villopoto and different people, and keep it grow through the whole thing from then till now. And what am I'm racing today here at Woodland, and what is this, 38 years for me racing a dirt bike. It's pretty crazy, but I love it, and it's cool to see it, coming back around in the Northwest with you and Ryan and the other tracks that are involved, and hopefully this turns into a good thing for the future.
Absolutely. We're trying to include in this series. We're trying to include more manufacturer participation. We have contingency from 4, more dealerships involved, track perspective, dealer perspective, manufacturer perspective. They all have a different lens they see things through, and I think that if we all do our part, and we all have to do our part, us as well as the riders. We have to promote our sport. We have to do a good job with our image on social media. Really important.
Yeah.
We need to attract people to the sport versus. I just think that's the way to grow. You know.
Yeah, and getting people to want to race more again. You know, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of professional practicers, and
right.
hopefully some of these new little ways of doing stuff, and Villopoto and giving away the pressure washer already today, and different things like that. I've seen a pretty good thing on social media with Matrix.
Yeah.
They're a good company. We've worked with them at Washougal over the years, and they're good to us. And it's cool to see that involved. And I'm sure there's going to be more, to come. Each event, and probably some more posts through Ryan. I'm sure he's going to be working hard at it, and hopefully we get more people involved as this goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, the sponsorships are cool because they all want to participate. A, B, they want a good image. And that's up to all of us. The better off, the more healthy we make the sport, the more they're going to participate. And this is our first year. We have 7 rounds this year, and we're looking forward to growing. And what growth means, we don't know yet. We're going to make mistakes. I'm sure we'll hear about our mistakes when we make them, but we want to fail forward and put the sport in a better place. That's all of our responsibility.
Yeah, it's just cool. And it's good to be a part of it with Washougal. And I was talking to my dad for a little bit over all this, and he likes it. It's really neat to him that Villopoto is involved. He just thinks that's neat. He's old school, and to see somebody that big get involved, and we're all working together to make this happen. And
absolutely,
it's a good thing, and the sport needs it, and it's done it over the years. So, there used to be the Gold Cup Series, then there was the original Pac West, and then through that, there was my mom's series, and then some of the other series around here, and now we got the Pac West Series back. And,
right.
It's kind of funny. Ryan was looking for a name, kind of come up with a name, and I said, well, it was Pac West. I don't think it would be a problem to use that. So I guess that got things spinning, and here we are calling it the Pac West.
Yeah, I think it's something that people can relate to.
Yeah.
And it has some pedigree, and it's something familiar with us as when we were growing up. Everyone knew what Gold Star, Pac West. So I just think it's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about scheduling for a minute.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we in the Northwest we have a few months of summer.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sometimes we don't. But we all have tracks. We all have to produce revenue in a short amount of time, and what we have found is working with the tracks. If we can all lock arms and work together, scheduling isn't going to be perfect, but at least it's in a better place than everyone doing their own thing, and trying to come together to make it work for everyone as much as possible.
Yeah, it's tough. Over the years, my dad being involved as much as he's gotten groups together, and you get them together, and then still there's the amount of tracks, and then to not overlap and do this. But you got a series that can kind of work together and let the tracks still get what they need out of these deals, and run a race, that's feasible for them. This way, it's awesome that the dates can come together with people. It is tough, though. Just to touch on something like I got the Loretta Lynn stuff, man, it gets really tough with that because we're a part of that. We're doing area, and there's so many areas in that now, and then to try to even fit in a date around that, let alone a series like this, then you got some other stuff.
It
gets tough. Then you got the regional, and the fast and your good riders are going to chase, like, let's say that double qualifier that's at Eugene,
right?
So you got to figure out what you do. Do you not run against that, or do you run against maybe one of the areas that are further away? It's tough to fit in a schedule just to get started in the year. April and May are tough with the Loretta Lynn stuff, and I don't know if a lot of people get that or understand that, but you want to make sure you can get the good riders here, and they're going to chase Loretta Lynn's a little bit. You got to work around stuff like that. And,
absolutely.
Let alone getting into the summer, our short little summer we get.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah, I know. One of the things Ryan was mentioning is having a lot of riders at one series. Then maybe we won't have as many track series that we need to produce revenue. If we can produce revenue in one weekend, that's more healthy for the track.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll in the future clean up some scheduling.
Yeah, I actually tried to work supply and demand in a sense. We used to run 10 to 12 races, and people would ride in the mud more back in the day too. But we'd run more races like that, and I've tiered back to just our regulars is around 7 or so, and try to create a little bit more demand. And make sure that people can show up and get there, not have to spend money at so many races. And meanwhile, maybe the demand's better for us to be able to keep running and make it feasible.
Absolutely. Well, today this is round 1. We have snow out there. We have rain. We have snow and rain. The track's holding up pretty well. I can't believe how good the soil is here.
Yeah.
We have people from Canada, from Spokane, Idaho, all over. So I think it's, I'll chalk it up to a successful round 1.
Yeah, I mean, weather considering, look, the people are here, and Woodlands, if you're going to be riding in the mud, Woodlands not bad. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic. How important do you think our image is? We have brands. We're here at Woodland today. We have 10 dealerships that we're representing.
Mm-hmm.
We have sponsors that we're representing, which they're here. We have tracks that we're representing as a series. Let's talk a little bit about image. What can we do? What do you? I mean, you've seen let's just be honest. You've seen really negative comments online.
Yeah, that stuff's got it. Who all's been involved with that? I don't know exactly. It's just, I wish people wouldn't do that for this sport. I'll just throw this out there. I grew up racing, had a lot of sponsors, and my dad pretty much said, you're not going to ever burn a bridge on any of these. You're going to go talk to all the people. Let's just say I had to switch from Axo gear to Answer. We made sure, and maybe Axo wasn't very happy, but we would send them a nice letter, a nice phone call, keep it really, positive, even on the way out if something was changing or different. And, one time I burnt a bridge with Mitch Payton a little bit, and that didn't go so good for me for a little while. This industry's small, and you can't do that.
Everyone knows each other.
I don't even know if you want to call it small. It's just tight. Everybody knows each other, and you do that. You do something negative or whatever. It doesn't.
Then that
it hurts it in general, let alone if you're just talking about our little corner of the Northwest up here. And we got to stay positive, and people got to work together. Even enemies, people that might not like one person or another. That if we're in this industry, we got to bite our tongue a little bit and work together, because that's what's going to help the sport.
I think what I've noticed is a lot of people know other people's business, and 90% of it isn't even accurate.
Right.
But B, we have to be careful about who we involve in our business.
Yeah.
I mean, go to the person. Ryan was here earlier, and we were talking about that. If you have a problem, I think we were all taught at a young age to go to that person.
Right.
If I have a problem with you,
Yeah.
I'll come to you, and we'll work it out as men, and have some maturity. So, I mean, for me, that's what I see.
Yeah.
But, no matter what brand you ride, no matter, if you're an online retailer or a dealership, I guess on paper you're competitors, right? But, when you put the rider first, y'all have to come together, and then you compete on the battlefield of ideas.
Yeah.
You don't draw battle lines. You don't do that. So we're happy to include everyone. If you're behind the Northwest rider, we want to be affiliated with you. It's that simple.
Yeah. You just want good relationships, and make sure we do what the sponsors need, or maybe go the extra mile a little bit for some of that too, do a little bit of extra, and they like that, and I think 100%'s on board with this series. If I recall.
They are.
Yeah, and they're on board with our track.
They have 100%
yeah, there you
American
go.
flag.
So, and Bevo's part of that, and
Yeah.
Kuzo, and some of them that I know, and they're a big part of Washougal, and just what they've done for the riders, we'll go and have a couple extra signs made from Fusion to put up around the track. Sometimes you just do a few things like that.
Absolutely.
And then Bevo shows up at our national and sees one of them. He's like, whoa, and just loves it. Next thing you know, they're calling our amateur days the 100% amateur days.
Right.
They do a little bit extra for that. It's cool. And just because they got excited over a couple extra signs, you gotta do stuff like that for those people. And,
Absolutely. Fusion.
and the benefit of this is
Fusion
the
graphics.
riders that are getting,
Fusion graphics.
on Villo's bikes.
Sweet.
So then, the thing is us as tracks doing some of that kind of stuff, and these series, then the next thing you know, the riders are getting more stuff from 100% or, Matrix or Fusion or whatever. You got to make sure and reach out and make them guys happy. And in the end, it goes to our year-end awards for the riders.
Absolutely.
Or season-end awards, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we want to put motocross in a better space. We want to we want the soil fertile for growth, you know, and to do that, everyone's got to play, and everyone has to have a good image. Sitting here with Darren from motorsport.com, and you know, we were just talking earlier about the series and sponsorships and how our goal as a series is to welcome everybody, and you know, and so you know, whether you're a dealer, OEM, you know, just we want the environment where everyone is playing, because who are we trying to benefit here?
The rider.
The rider.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a concept.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
so welcome, and you know, we're here at Woodland in February, and we've had a little weather today.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, it's been a wild weather day, but you can hear the bikes in the background. They're out there tearing it up. It stopped raining / snowing. So, but yeah. Anything to add?
This is the only condition that I've ever ridden this track, actually. So soupy cold, February or March. That's about it. So this is about the best I've seen.
I've heard this is unrideable in the summer because it's just you can't get enough water.
I bet. So it's a testament to the series and people's desire to ride that they're showing up on a day like today, where it's snowing upon arrival. It's snowing during the race. So that's pretty cool. That's the sort of person that we're aiming to serve, and we, as a motto, we want to make your next ride your best ride. So I'm glad to be a part of the series, glad to be out here and help make it possible for those that are willing to brave the elements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And you know, dealerships, we have 10 dealerships that are involved in the series too.
Yep.
And we want to create an avenue for them to come to the track.
Yep.
Because this is where their riders are. This is where their you know, the relationship should be you know, at the track.
Yep.
That way, it's a different feel when you're in the dealership. If you're just in the dealership, you're not at the track. It's a different. There's you know, it's about connecting. And I think that's why we're here at the track, right?
Absolutely.
We're trying to connect with the rider on a different level, maybe.
Yep. In terms of our involvement and what could be perceived as competition with dealers, you know, we sell everything but the bike. So we want to see new bike sales every bit as much as the dealers do too. That's good for all business. So a rising tide floats all boats, as they say.
Yeah.
We're here to help provide serve as a middleman and ultimately get the best parts, gear, and everything in between for those that need it at a nice reasonable price online, for those that can't make it into a dealership or don't have good access to that. But for those that certainly do, we want to see that business continue as well. I'd say not so much a direct competitor with the local dealerships, but a complementary competitor in that regard.
Absolutely. You know, it's about the rider. You know, I have a dealership, and you know, I look at it like we all need to be here representing our brand. You know, whether you're a dealer or online, or if you ride a different brand than what I would sell. I mean, it doesn't matter. You have to be here, shaking hands, smiling, promoting your sport. You know, that way you attract people to what, right?
Yeah, all smiles here. Yeah. That's
Well, I'm glad to have you, and you know, I look forward to a long relationship, and you know, anything that we need to be looking at, we're all ears.
I love it. Glad to be a part of it. Couldn't be happier. And so.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks so much.